Let's start. So it's been interesting for me to watch my own process of setting intentions as a creative and to watch even others, their process of setting intentions as a creative. And I'm using the term creative here for, because we are all creative, but for someone who is dedicating a lot of time in their creative outlet, someone who is maybe wanting to make it a career, someone who's wanting it to become their full-time life, basically. So in watching how it's getting more and more tricky to set those intentions with regards to the platforms that we are using. And usually those kind of people that want to take the creative route as a career or as a place that they spend most of their time in, usually they've said no to the corporate ladder. They've pushed that aside and said no to it. But it's so interesting to see ourselves bumping into another ladder to climb. For example, Substack has, um, I don't even know how it works, but you get like as a bestseller, you get these little ticks, whether it's an orange ticks, depending on how many followers and people that are paying for the Substack are, and you can just go up and up with that, and that's wonderful. That's the platform. That's what the platform wants to do. But we could fall into the trap of now wanting to go according to the guidelines that they've set of what a successful writer, for example, will have to go through. And there's an exercise that I thought about as I was preparing this from the book, wonderful book by Louise Hay, I think, and it's called Heal Your Life. And she has an exercise there of you first list things that you feel that you should do. I should. And you list about 5 of those things. And it could be maybe you feel like you should be getting a degree. You should have 100,000 subscribers by now. You should have whatever it is that you feel you should be doing, the goals that you should be doing. So you list that first. And after listing that, you then list why. Why you believe you should get a degree, why you believe you should have 100,000 subscribers, step by step. And then the last question would be, why haven't you? Why haven't you done it yet? What's stopping you from doing it? And it's interesting. I've done this with so many of the people that I work with. I've done it with myself a couple of times. And it's so interesting that at the end, the answer is, I don't want to. When at the end, the question is, why haven't you? This goal that you keep beating yourself up about, why haven't you done it? And you realize, I actually don't want to. And it's always an interesting revelation to find out which ones are our goals and which one have we adopted as we go along. And sometimes the answers is when you continue to find out, so why have you spent the past decade beating yourself up about this thing that you felt you should do that you haven't done? Why was that? And then the answers will be because I thought I could save my family, because I thought I could be more accepted. I thought that's what you do as a writer. You get 100,000 subscribers. I thought this is so. It is a nice exercise to separate outside intentions from your own intentions, because it's easy to just fall into it. And then now every day you wake up and you're beating yourself up to get into the number that the platform has set out. And let me also give you my background and what I have achieved on social media, which is nothing. On my prime, and I mean on my prime on Instagram, I had 80 followers. That was like at my best of the best. And here on YouTube or on Substack, I have about 150 followers. And I think also on YouTube, it's about 150. This is as best as I could go. So I'm saying this to say, this video is not to offer some tips on how to gain more subscribers, because I don't know how to. But it really is to see if really this is my intention, if that's what I even want before I go ahead and get a social media manager and get all the assistance that I can get. So I wanted to give that background just to see. So I don't know, I don't even know what it feels like to have like a million or 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what that feels like. So I'm checking my notes just to make sure that I'm still on what I wanted to say. Mm, okay. So I want to talk about the threats. What's threatening our own intentions, what threatens our own way of what we want to do. And I spoke about school popularity here and how excited I was to be out of school because I wasn't the popular uh, student at school. I wasn't unpopular. I wasn't like going through unpopularity, but I was also not popular. And it was so exciting to get out of school and get into the corporate world where it wasn't about who's popular. It was about, are you working hard? Are you doing what you need to do? Are you following the rules? And then that was it. And then you get paid for your hard work. And that was it. And it was so refreshing and so liberating to get to that point, to get out of that school popularity. Little did I know that that sense of relief will last only a little bit. As someone who's creative, now it feels like that popularity contest again of the one that is the most popular, the coolest one on the internet is the one that will get the cheese or whatever that means. So it's interesting to see that full circle of getting back to that and really having to discover what it is that's important. Is being popular important to me? Probably not. Okay. And then I wanted to talk about the threats, what threatens our own creativity and what threatens how far we go with what we want to create and how far we go with our own ideas. And the number one threat is the mediums that we use to showcase our creations. I've made an example of Substack, Instagram. Those are the mediums that help us showcase whatever it is that we are doing. And they could be a threat because they it could be very difficult to continue believing in yourself because you might believe your story, what you're telling, or your painting is the best painting you've ever done. And then you post it on Instagram and only one person likes it. And then that then creates doubt, questions of, was it really the best painting you've ever done? Maybe you could do better. Maybe it's not as awesome as you think it is. So that sort of poses a threat into our own self belief, our own validation of who we think we are, just because Instagram didn't validate it, the people on Instagram didn't validate it. Right. And the second threat that really gets under the skin of a creative is money and how much money you're making from your own creations. And money's opinion can be so black and white. It can be just so straightforward and no area for no middle ground. Just either you made money out of your creations or you didn't. Either they were good enough for people to buy it or they weren't. And it just stops at that. There's no gray area with that. And it's like surely if a million people bought your art, that means it really is amazing. And even if you introduce yourself to people and you say, "Hi, I'm a writer and I'm on the New York's bestseller list or something like that," then suddenly everyone would be like, okay, that's true. But if you come through and you call yourself a writer and only two people have bought the book, that's my case, only two people have bought your book, where's your proof that you're writing? Just only the fact that you're writing, which is very interesting because that doesn't happen with other, what do you call it? It doesn't happen with other mediums. It doesn't happen with accountants, for example. You don't get to be an accountant and have to be the best accountant in the world for you to be heard, for you to be believed that you are truly an accountant and a good one in that matter. So that is the one. Those are the two threats that I've seen for myself that make it very difficult to set intentions and stick to them. Maybe my intentions to keep creating, and then I find that the medium doesn't really. Hi, Camila. The medium doesn't really validate who I say I am, or money doesn't validate. And I find money really is about quantity and less about quality. If I have 100 people who are just like following my work or doing all these wonderful things, then it can become that. Camila, you came as I'm just about to finish the live. How are you doing? Please say something. Hey, okay. Now I know you're here. Good to see. Um, the one thing that I was talking about here, Camila, was validation, the validation that we need from the mediums we use to showcase our creations, the validation of like, like I really believe maybe I'm a good painter. And then I could start to feel crazy when not even one person recognizes my paintings or feels that my paintings are any good. So that's what this live was about. It was about how it gets really difficult to set our own intentions as creatives because of the validation that we might have not gotten from either the mediums that we're using or money. If only two people bought whatever it is that you were selling, was it really that good? Is what money tries to instill in our minds. And if you have any thoughts on that, I would like to hear them before I say goodbye. Yeah, so Camila says it's important, but we might not get it. In most cases, because another thing that I wanted to say, Camila, is literally only 1% of the people in said medium are getting that validation. If you look at the numbers, only 1% of the people on YouTube, for example, are actually getting what is it called? I've forgotten what it's called. But those are the ones who are actually making a living out of YouTube, for example. Only 1%. So that leaves 99% without the said validation. And that means we have to create our own way of validating our work. Because that only works for the 1%, and the 99% has to just find something else. So that's what the numbers say. And I think even with Substack, only only 1%, I have to check that, is actually making a living out of Substack. So I like what you're saying. Camilla says, so it can't be the focus. That cannot be the focus because we are just setting ourselves up for disappointment if we make that a focus. It'll be nice though. I'm waiting for you, Camilla, to add one more thought if you have, and then I'll say goodbye. I wish you were here from the beginning. It would have been so nice. Oh, I need to check it out. So Camilla says I watched a very interesting movie last night, Perfect Days, by Wenders. I recommend it. I'm gonna check it out. Is it about actually I'm just gonna check it out. I've never heard of it. Perfect Days. Is it a recently released movie? It sounds really good for this topic. So this topic was not offering today it's about a man who cleans toilets. I am so going to watch it. So this topic was about giving tips and encouraging to go according um, to the ladder, the social media ladder that wants to be climbed. It really was about showing how we can make somebody goals ours and fail at it and beat ourselves up for failing at a goal that wasn't even ours to begin with. And most creatives or writers have rejected the corporate ladder system, and to come back here or into other mediums and find that there is another ladder that wants to be climbed can be disheartening, is all I'm saying. So the movie was released in 2024. It's about a man that reads Twilight. I am so interested in seeing the movie, and it was so nice to see you, Camila. I'm always happy to see your name, because you have been nothing but kind. Camila, please have a wonderful day. I'll see you next. Bye.